kids, it's time for Gardening with Mr. Steve. I hope everybody's having a good week and you're being nice to your mommy and daddy and your brothers and sisters if you have them, and your pets, a dog or a cat or a turtle or whatever you might have, because everybody needs a little extra care since we're all stuck inside together and doing a lot of things. But we're outside a little today and we're going to take a look at the garden and see how things are doing since last week. Now remember, the carrots were growing and we dug up one of them to see how they're doing because the green's going up and the orange is growing down. So let's look at that same carrot we looked at last week, and I'm going to dig it up real carefully with a lot of dirt so that we can replant it. And let's see how it's doing. My goodness, look how big the carrot is getting. And see, these are little tiny roots, and this is a root, and that's where the carrot gets its water and its food. So they're growing really well. So we're going to be real careful, and we're going to plant it right back where it was all the way down so that skinny little root can go back and get the water and the food. And we'll check it out again in a week or two. But that means all these carrots are growing, the green is growing up and the orange part's growing down. And that's one of the biggest ones. So it's doing really well. So we'll look around here and we'll look, we have our collards. Remember, we picked them last week and I took them to Daystar Life Center and they were so happy to get fresh vegetables because there's not a lot of fresh stuff out right now. And so those went to, we had tomatoes and some green peppers and collard greens, and those went to some of the needy, poor families. And there were a lot of people in line waiting for food. So let's see over here. Let's take a look at the green peppers, and they're continuing to grow very nicely. See that green pepper right here? And then there's another one, even bigger, in the back. And we have little white flowers, which means that's where the green pepper is going to come out, right? Green peppers come out of white flowers. And there's one with a lot of little buds coming. Those will all come out as white flowers, and then the green peppers will grow outside of that. And let's take a look at our tomatoes. The tomatoes are nice and green, but they're not ready to pick yet. They have to turn red before we pick them, but they're going to keep getting bigger and bigger. We have a really big one over here, but it's not even started to turn red yet. And let's look way back here where I'm pointing with the shovel. We have little cherry tomatoes, and see how they come out? They're not going to get any bigger than that, but we're going to have, when they turn nice and red and ripe, we'll have lots of cherry tomatoes that we'll take down to Daystar. So one of the things I wanted to do today was, if you look over here in this earth box, there's room for more stuff. And since we have green peppers here, we're going to plant some different peppers. So I got these, and what we're going to do is dig a hole down in here, and we're going to scrunch this up a little bit so the roots have room to move. And we're going to plant that. And this is a poblano ancho pepper. So that's going to be kind of a hot pepper that you would use in Mexican food. And I'm going to put that right here, the little sign, so we know what it is. And then I have one more that's a little bigger. And we're going to carefully pull that out of the pot from the store. And we're going to dig a nice hole, scrunch this up a little so the roots can have room to come out. And we'll watch those every week, and they'll start to grow nice and high, and then we'll get big green poblano peppers out of that. But there's one more thing we need to do after you plant, because it's like a baby plant. You know how babies are always hungry all the time? Well, we're gonna feed it. Because now that we planted it, I made some of the blue fertilizer. We're gonna put a little bit in there to give it a head start. And I've got some little carrots in there, and we're going to put the food on some of these that, especially when things start to grow, then they get really hungry, like the tomatoes are growing. So the tomato plants are really hungry. Where we had the cherry tomatoes, we're gonna give them some of the blue food. And then some of these over here. Everybody gets to eat today. And so the plants are getting their breakfast. Nice nutritious breakfast. I hope you're getting a nice nutritious breakfast at home. And let's see what else we have here. Everything seems to be growing very nicely. So next week we'll have some bigger tomatoes, maybe some red ones that are big enough to pick. I think next week we'll be able to pick the green peppers and take them to the food bank. Some of the collard greens are getting big enough. We'll pick some of those, put them in a bag, snap them off, put them in the bag, and take those to Daystar. And we'll just keep watching these carrots, because carrots take a long time to grow, just like you take a long time to grow. What are the things that you need? You need food and you need water. And what do the plants need? They need food and they need water. And what's the other thing that plants need to grow? It's way up there. It's the sun. And so right now the sun is not on the plants, but it's still early in the day. And when the sun comes in, the plants are gonna go, now we can get bigger, we can grow our vegetables, we can make our tomatoes, because they need all three things: water, food, and sun. So that's gardening with Mr. Steve for today. I hope you had a good time. Make sure that you're nice to your brothers and sisters and your mom and dad and your pets. Keep eating vegetables, that's gonna help you grow. And I can't wait for all of you to come back here to the ECC so that you can be here with the garden. So goodbye until next week.